You know what I find that I seem to attract, and it's weird because it's said to me that I seem to attract needy people, and part of me is
when you say you want someone to be needy,
no.
Are you happy to have a man that's completely independent?
See, now this is the thing. I'd like someone that's balanced.
Yeah, but that's what I say.
Because it is.
I'm not saying you shouldn't be able to have that, but in reality, people.
It's nice to know that the person's independent enough that they're not running up your ass for everything. But at the same time, it's also nice to be needed.
But then, are you an insecure person?
See, I wouldn't say I'm an insecure person.
An insecure person needs someone to be needy. An insecure person isn't going to be comfortable, but an independent person that doesn't come chasing after them.
And see, that's the thing. I would say I'm quite an independent person in that respect, and I'm not an insecure person. But what I will say is that
you have your insecurities, though.
Yeah, I have my insecurities. So there'll be certain things that I would want to be reassured
man-woman relationship type thing. Like you can be insecure about loads of things, but when it comes to the person,
I think it's easy to say that you're not an insecure person until you're actually in the relationship.
And that's the thing.
That's easy.
So I would say I'm not an insecure person, but I will say I've been in a relationship where I've realised closer to the ending of it, I did start becoming very insecure. I had my reasons. I had my reasons.
If someone gives you reasons to be like infidelity.
But at the same time, with those reasons came me questioning myself. Well, hold on. How did I do a spin from being that person that was like comfortable? It hasn't taken everything away, but it has made me a bit more heightened. My awareness is heightened now. So, for example, if I was to end up with a guy who I feel like is somewhat popular, yeah, or got a job where they're constantly around females, I'm not instantly like, right, if you don't answer his phone, he's cheating. That's not me, innit? I'm just like, could be at work, he could be sleeping, he could be doing.
So you can rationalise your thoughts.
To the point where I might even be finding excuses for him not answering the phone, and it might not even be any of what I said.
Yeah, but is that you getting agitated or are you calm about it?
No, but you see me in general, it depends on, say for example, if I'm calling you and I can't get through, it depends on my reason for calling you to work, how quickly I'd be bothered. If I feel like, like something's broken a routine and I'm concerned, if that's when I think, but I also feel like it's like my motherly instincts, and I'm like, hold on, what's happened?
But you're going to have that concern to care about that person.
Right.
If that person's like a donut, you're not really going to be that bothered.
No, but I've had that where I've literally spoken to someone, I couldn't get through to them, and I've said to somebody else, and I've literally sat there on my bed and said, something is not right. And my friend's like, what do you mean? I said, I don't know what. So it's not right. When I finally got through to the person, boom, they said, I told you something was wrong. And they were like, how the hell did you know? I said, listen, that was just a gut feeling. And normally I wouldn't have to chase you for 2-3 days.
It was a break in a routine that was obvious.
But it was just certain behavioural patterns.
Was they honest about it, or did they try to lie about it?
No, they were like, listen, a lot's been going on, boom, boom, boom. And we literally sat there and spoke, and I was like, shit, it makes sense. Because I still couldn't pinpoint and say, oh, this is what it is. It weren't that. I was just like, something's off. Yeah, but I feel like something's not right. Happened twice with the same person. Both occasions it was.
You have multiple needs. You've been with, or it's say multiple needs.
Do you know what it is? When I say needy, it's different. That's the thing. It's different types of needy, though, and that's where it becomes hard. Because we can all say how you said there's a similar thing in women. You can have like a similar trend, but them as people
manifest
still
in different behaviours.
Yeah. So my thing might be, because I'm quite willing to help people. Yeah, that's naturally me. Yeah. So if I get on with you and I care, right. So now sometimes it's taken for granted. Yeah. So it's not always that.
Well, that's where that balance comes in, that you need give and take. So if you're the giver and you're with a taker,
it becomes a problem. Exactly. Yeah. So my thing will be, all right, because I've done that, I might get to a point where I'm like, all right, I can settle back a little bit now. It's not that honeymoon bit, it's just I can settle back now. But if you need me, shout me. Yeah. But then I get to a point where they're like, I need you. And I'm like, yo.
I've had a friend say like, he's asked a girl that he's not even in a relationship yet, but like, yeah, so when I'm going to see this, I'm not sure because I've got work and then the weekend and he come moaning, like he's pissed off with her because she literally couldn't give her time. Like, bro, why are you pissed? Like, you're free to do your thing, you're not even in a relationship.
Talk to me, I'll be like, the 17th of November.
You're complaining that the girl's busy, like she works, she's got her social life, like you're not even a man yet, like allow it, innit?
See, it's mad because this is what I'm saying. I feel like everything for the most part is just based on divinity and things just being how they are. Because like with me, I don't worry about any kind of shit. If I like you, I like you.
So you basically say that you're all or nothing.
But so would you say that for someone outside looking in, it looks like your tolerance levels are like.
What tolerance levels are? Things don't
trigger you easily.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, because of how I am, yes, my tolerance levels would be quite high, but this is the thing.
But it's not
it's
not how it seems.
A lot of them trivial things that people may think happen don't come to me like that.
So have you ever had that man say to you, you're too laid back? Some people don't like.
Yeah,
women don't like when they can't
your
read
tolerance
you.
is
Women don't like when they can't read you, or when they expect you to get angry and you don't. They actually are like.
But now, this is what's interesting.
You're attracting the sound of women, I do.
This is what I'm interested. So like, I am too laid back, but I'm very open. I'm very expressive. So I'm not your.
Can I challenge you on that?
Go on.
Can you make that a bit more specific with when you're around certain people? Because
I'm talking about women though, like women
that you're in. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was about to say, as much as you're open, are you like?
Yeah.
She said you're an enigma.
No, do you know what it is? Because I personally, from my experience with Anne, if you know Anne and you're within a certain realm, yes,
then you understand.
But outside of that, you won't know shit.
Yeah, I've got other friends. I've got other friends that are the
Nothing.
safest, coolest, most. Like me and my boy, he's around there last week. We would talk all night. But if you don't know you gonna think he's the quietest guy ever. He's come to my yard, and I've known him. We've been best since like 4 years old. He's come to my yard, and I've got other friends here that I've known since I was like 12, and he's like, and they're like female friends. Like, you don't tell me no, this was gonna be it. You'd think he was my gyal, like he gets because he don't like being around people that ain't his people. Even though he knows he's my people and they're my people. And I mean, they got on that occasion, but when he first arrived at my house, his thing was that I didn't tell him. I'm like, I don't need to tell you who else is coming to my yard. It's my yard, isn't it? Like you're my people, they're my people. You know, I'm cool with people, but he does not like being in a space of people he does not know.
No. Yeah, which is fair.
So like it's weird, but so you'd think on that age back, give her the context of it when what scenario, and obviously you said an intimate one, but it is you can be one way in one context, like relationship side, and you can be another way. And then I know females say, oh, he acts different when he's around his boys, or when he wasn't the same way that I know him. It makes me think, is he ashamed? Is he this? Is he that? Whatever. So like sometimes that's why I say like consistency to me,
but privacy
and
secrecy as well. Like.
When I'm with my woman, like it's just day and night. I'm the most playful, goofy. I'm just silly. Now, obviously, I've got traits of that in my character to where I'm around people that I'm not usually around. But with my girl, it's on 100. It's like
that just proves how comfortable you are around.
Your
guard's completely down.
You
don't consider I'm gonna sound like an idiot. I'm gonna get down, man. You can. That's how point when you're with the right person. You do act goofy.
But now it's like I carry myself a certain way outside because I don't want people to get too comfortable and then cross that line. Because I'm that person that will cut you off completely.
Yeah, but you don't need to even give that much of yourself to everybody anyway.
Right.
And the person you love and you're in a relationship with should be getting that most of your character of you anyway. They should be bringing it out. If they're making that go down and dimming that, you can say you love each other, maybe they're not the best person for you. Because you should only act to someone's character, someone's life, not make them withdraw.
It does depend on who you're with.
Yeah.
For the most part. It's not to say that you're not a certain way, it's just who you're with. It's just who brings that out of you.
But that's it. But the thing is, even with keeping things
how much
private,
you've developed
since we've been with
since you've been with, because a lot of people, how they are.
Conversation we had last time we was here, and it's like about why do some guys prefer to treat their boys and their girl. I said that there's some guys where they can't bust jokes and have silly banter with their girl and they get their boys. But you're saying you can do that with girl. That shows it's a healthy relationship.
But that's the thing. I think sometimes what happens in some relationships, one person grows faster than the other, and I think that can be a very big problem.
It's either or.
But to me, you're never always gonna grow.
That's default settings, though.
Yeah.
It's default settings because
you're not gonna grow equally.
If you're not consciously in the same place together and actually intentionally want to elevate together, then one's always going to be. And
it's the thing is, you can come into a relationship like this.
I understand what you're saying in terms of if it's right, if it's healthy, but then at the same time, if one person's dealing with unresolved emotional issues.
Oh yeah, no. I'm talking about if we come into and we're in a space, Like, I'm a true believer of childhood trauma turns into adult drama.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Definitely.
So I'm not saying, this if the guy thinks he's it, I'm talking about if you come into a space, you meet each other, you collect, and he's in this kind of zone, naturally, if you're at a certain level and you feel like, I like this woman, I'm interested in her, you should naturally want to bring her up there.
So would you say
you
that
can
manifests
elevate-
into when a girl says, oh, I'm just happier when I'm around him, or he just makes me laugh all the time?
Listen,
I might
couldn't
be down.
with a guy that does not make me laugh.
I might
Can't
be
do
down, but as soon as I speak to him on the phone, I just feel better.
Right.
When
You see
that's
that?
how it manifests into
That's
that.
already bringing her up.
Yeah.
So when I say bringing her up, it doesn't have to be money, this, that. It could just be simple things. Yeah. So you know what?
Like,
I know that if I speak to her today, no matter how bad her day is, I've made her smile. You brought her up.
If you're with
enough.
someone that's got kids and her kids say, you're always happy, or you're always laughing when he's
That's
around.
bringing her
That's
up
like,
enough.
again,
because
that's it manifesting in a visible
Listen, you
space.
brought up both of them because now what happens is when she's in a
she's
good
a better
space,
mum.
she's going to behave
Yeah,
differently
you're
with
gonna
her
make her better
children. You're
mum.
going to make the children happy, so you've brought them up.
Yeah.
Now, if you get to a point of saying, what do you want to do? She says, I want to do this and I want to do that. And you say, let's do it together. You should both be going up, but your own, what people tend to forget is they're so concentrated on growth as a partnership, they forget that you have to do individual growth. You have to do personal growth. So you can grow as a partnership, but if you haven't grown outside of that
self.
And that's been my thing.
that's what fucks up a lot of relationships.
And that's always been my thing, whether I knew it or not. I was always growing. I was always
and sometimes you outgrow.
Sometimes you do.
I mean, people grow it.
For me, personally, I know that every step, every space that I was in was based on where I was at the time. I know it wasn't about the things that people would count as, oh, this is what happened.
Yeah.
No, I was not supposed to be there no more. I spent how many years there? We were so in tune, we were so together, but now I'm not there no more. And now when I look at where I'm at, I'm like, yo, I could not have been here if I was there. If my mind was there, if my mind was still there, I wouldn't have her.
But that's what I'm saying. So you got to a point where you were stagnant.
With me, it was nothing but divine timing.
Right. Like you said, I can say that circumstances in which I had time were not favourable, were not definitely intended. But I'm like, but look what I've had for 11 years. I've had like the most amazing part of my life has been being a father to my son. So, but that's why I say it's not about how they were conceived. It's about you doing what you're supposed to be doing, kind of thing. And like you said, I wouldn't have had certain experiences and been who I am now if I wasn't being a father to this little boy for the last 11 years, kind of thing. Like, so it has altered me, but in a positive way. Even though the situation might have been initially a bad or negative situation, you have to get on with things. And
I feel like it's always telling because, you know, for the most part, and we've actually had this convo, like all these things, whether we know it or not, is bigger than us, right? And when you end up in more so say a negative space with the individual that you was once with, that's because one of you or both of you don't know that it's bigger than us.
Like one of the hardest things, and it will have the biggest effect on whether you can be happy or not, is that having to reconcile our fantasy and expectations of someone with the reality of who they actually are. When you get with someone, there's things you want, and this is what it ties back into why you need to ask questions, because you might want this person to be like that, you might even expect them to be like that, but doesn't mean that they have to be, and it doesn't mean you have a right to be upset or disappointed that they're not. But if you're not asking them questions, like, oh, but I thought we was getting into a relationship. Well, we never had that conversation, I never told you that. Why do you assume that? Well, why have you been seeing me for a year then? Why did you introduce me to your family then? Like, but that's just cool, isn't it? Cool like that, yeah. But I don't want to. I know I don't want to marry you. Oh, that's it. But you never ask them questions. But at the same time, I feel like people and women, especially, they often deliberately hold back from asking certain questions because they're worried about being perceived as. Yeah, but they just feel for the answer. They're worried about how they're gonna be perceived. It's like, she's crazy, she's clingy, like that's too soon. Oh no, she needs to calm down. Like man's just getting to know her, and she's already asking about what do I. And even what was about having 5 questions to ask someone. If someone's not mature enough to at least appreciate that person trying to get the dynamics, they're gonna read it as like, but I don't like the way they ask me too much questions, like always trying to
Just,
like.
yeah.
Whereas other people